I feel like every time we move on to the next piece, I'm like, this has been my best purchase, but then I change my mind and I'm like, no, this has been the best one, or this has been my most favorite purchase. But honestly, I love every single one of them. Hello my friends, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back. I have done quite a few critiquing videos recently, but I don't want to seem like a negative Nancy, so today we'll be taking things in the opposite direction and it will be good vibes only on here. Hence, I'll be sharing with you my top 5 best purchases from Hermes from the past year. These are pieces that I picked up either towards the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021, just to stay more recent, that I have been absolutely loving, because sometimes I feel like I fall into the trap of always thinking about what's new and the next best thing rather than enjoying the pieces that I already own. I usually just unbox things and then I immediately move on to reviewing new launches and thinking about what's going to be on my wish list next. But today, this is my homage to some of these incredible Hermes pieces that come highly recommended. So if you'd like to hear my rave review on some of these spectacular Hermes pieces from a variety of categories, from bags through accessories, all the way to some pieces that are more special, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. As you might have noticed, I am truly a creature of habits, not only when it comes to Hermes, but just life in general. I always go through my phases, so when it comes to Hermes, when I discover something that works out for me, I usually wear it and enjoy it over and over and over again for a couple of months until something newer comes along or I rediscover something in my collection that I forgot about. I put it away and then you won't see it for a while, and it does usually take me at least a few months to rediscover it. I don't know why, that's just how I operate. I always go through my phases, but just because you don't see something for a while, that doesn't mean that I don't adore it. The CDC bracelet is a good example that I always go in and out of phases. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I find them really annoying to wear. Right now we're going through a phase of me loving CDC bracelets, and that's not a giveaway. Today we'll not be talking about the CDC bracelet, at least not the original one, but I did want to highlight the CDC 24 bracelet, which I picked up, I want to say, last August. And it has been a piece that I have absolutely loved having in my collection. So the CDC 24 bracelet launched just a few seasons ago. It is relatively new to the Hermes portfolio. And it's basically a more simplistic, stripped down take on the iconic original CDC bracelet that has been around almost since the inception of Hermes, and it has become one of the most iconic pieces released by the brand to this day. You'll know and recognize the CDC bracelet by its Medora pyramids and its ring that just sort of hangs out on the bracelet. And CDC actually stands for Collier de Chien, which means duck's collar. And that's because the design was actually inspired by the dog collars that Hermes designed for hunting dogs. And even though the CDC is an incredible design that, as I mentioned, I do quite enjoy myself, I think a lot of people couldn't get on board with it, even though they loved the design, but they felt it was too overwhelming for them, which I can completely understand. And then, a few decades later, enters the CDC 24, which is a much thinner, simplistic take on the original design. And instead of it featuring the large metal plaque with the 4 Medora pyramids and the rings, which can actually become quite annoying after a while, especially if you are someone like me who has a lot of hand gestures. You will find that noise that the ring can make annoying after a while. But the CDC 24 does not have that issue. Instead of it featuring the metal plaque with the 4 Medora pyramids and the ring that moves around, it only highlights the interesting sliding mechanism that the CDC has, which I actually think is pretty unique to Hermes. I try to think of other brands who do something similar, and I couldn't come up with anyone. Maybe you will, and if you do, please be sure to let me know in the comment section. But I think that this design is very iconic to the house of Hermes. Well, now you can find a bracelet that gives this spectacular mechanism its own well-deserved attention. And I find that because the CDC24 is a bit more refined and a lot more simplistic than the original design, it to be a lot more versatile. There's a lot more that I think you can do with this than you can do with the original design. Now, I'm not going to argue that the CDC is not an incredible piece to have in your collection, because it really is. It's an unbelievable statement piece that I think for the money, there really isn't anything that you can find out there. But if you're looking for something that is not going to suck all the air out of a room, the CDC24 is a good piece to go for. Today's video is all about the best of the best, the creme de la creme of the past year. But if you made me choose just one piece, this next one might be the one that I would have to highlight as the best purchase of the past year, because it's definitely my most used one. This is something that I have worn almost every single day, unless it was snowing or I made a conscious decision to switch things up. Otherwise, this was the one thing that I always reached for, which are my Avantage sneakers. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about these because I have recently done a video on my Hermes shoe collection where I went over the details of the Avantage sneakers, and I even showed you a mod shot of what they look like on. But really long story, really short, the Avantage sneakers are the best shoes that Hermes has ever launched, in my humble opinion. And trust me, I would know because I tried on pretty much every single pair of shoes that Hermes has come out with in the past few years, and I have never found something as flattering and as comfortable as the Avantage sneakers. They are incredibly comfortable. They go with everything. So if you're one of those people like myself who's not super into shoes and you don't want to spend too much time thinking about what would go with your outfit, what shoes you should go for, you can always rely on the Avantage sneakers because they can dress up an outfit. I have worn them with tracksuits, or they can even dress something down. I have tried to wear them with suede pants and even suit trousers, and they just do it every single time. Name it, and I have probably tried it when it comes to the Avantage sneakers. If you can hear any rumblings in the background, I truly apologize, but I have been surrounded by a construction zone for the past couple of weeks. There isn't any construction going on in my apartment, but I'm surrounded by it from every single angle. I have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing it all over, but they are, so I apologize if you can hear everything. I always try to wait for them to go on lunch or for something to happen, but it's just unpredictable. So anyway, we'll just have to go on with the show. But the next piece is one that I'm pretty sure I only ever mentioned once when I unboxed it, even though it's a piece that, similar to the Avantage sneakers, I have been using every single day ever since I bought them, which are not technically from Hermes, but they are by one of the sub-brands owned by Hermes, which is my Saint Louis Folia table lamp. This is something that I ordered back in 2020, and it took a couple of months, maybe a few months for it to arrive to Hermes, but I was able to pick it up early this year, and I have been using it every single night. I ended up putting it on the desk that I work at, so every night, as soon as the sun goes down, this light comes on, and it is the most beautiful piece of crystal that I have ever seen. The etching and the way Saint Louis crystals are made is just truly breathtaking. Yes, they are quite expensive, but if you compare them to some other fine crystal houses like Baccarat, they won't seem quite as outrageous, especially for the design, the quality, the craftsmanship, the weight, and most importantly, the way they scatter light, because it's enough for some sunshine to come through the windows and bounce off this light to create the most beautiful rainbow effect all over my windows, that I can pretty much enjoy this all day long. I don't even have to turn it on. Especially these days when we spend so much time at home, these are the pieces that I feel you can truly take advantage of. And you can pick these up directly from Hermes. It will take quite a while for these to be ordered in. unless you shop at one of their larger stores in the US that have a dedicated San Luis section, like the Miami boutique in the Design District or the Madison Avenue store in New York, that both have San Luis pieces usually on display, and then the Miami store actually has its dedicated section just for San Luis. But even if your store doesn't carry San Luis, usually you can still request these pieces to be ordered in. There's a catalog that you can look through and find what pieces you'd be most interested in. I have quite a few different pieces from San Luis, not only the folia lamp, but also glassware. And while I'm not the biggest fan of their glassware, I have to say that their lighting pieces and the sort of furnitures that I have seen from them are truly spectacular. So I have absolutely been loving my folia lamp, and I wanted to give you an update on the fact that I have indeed been using it on a regular basis. I feel like every time we move on to the next piece, I'm like, this has been my best purchase, but then I change my mind and I'm like, no, this has been the best one, or this has been my most favorite purchase. But honestly, I love every single one of them, obviously for different reasons. And when it comes to an item that I picked up from Hermes, actually not that long ago, this I would have to say has been probably the biggest game changer out of everything, which has been my special order Kelly strap. So this is a strap that I ordered as a replacement for my Mini Kelly 22, which is a bag that I have several reviews and videos on. And I recently unboxed this. This is something that I ordered in a longer length because the strap that comes with your Kellys originally, which is usually 85 centimeters, is quite uncomfortable for someone as broad-shouldered as me to be worn crossbody. I can make it work, but it tends to sit up quite high, which is not the most comfortable, especially in the colder month when I'm wearing layers. It's just not the most flattering look. So I've been after either a great extension or just a longer strap. And while I do have some tricks up my sleeve that have worked out extremely well for me, I find that most of the time I reach for my Mini Kelly, I do want the option of a crossbody strap. So I ended up investing in one of their longer straps. And this particular design only took about a month and a half to come in. So I placed an order for it. There was no need for me to put down a deposit. I just requested it. It was ordered and it was pretty much delivered within a month and a half. It was an extremely smooth and easy process. All you have to do is walk into your Hermes store with your bag or with a proof of purchase, and they will be able to place an order on your behalf. Now, one thing that I got quite a few questions on is if this is an invitation only thing. Do you have to be invited to place a special order for one of these straps? No, you do not. This is basically a service that is offered, I think, mainly if you lose the strap from your bag or if you lose the clochette or the log. This is the same system that they order replacement pieces through, but you do have the option to slightly customize the things that you order. Obviously, you will not be able to choose the color or the hardware or anything. They will have to order the piece that goes exactly with the bag that you own, but you can actually choose the length. And this service doesn't only apply to the Mini Kelly. If you want a longer strap for your regular Kelly, you absolutely can. And last but most certainly not least, how could I do a video about my most favorite purchases from the past year without mentioning this? Which is of course my Mini Kelly or Kelly 22 in gold Epsom with gold hardware. This is something that I was very fortunate to get for Christmas last year. And even though I haven't had too many opportunities to actually carry this out, it's still something that I just very much enjoy looking at. Because to be really frank with you, there is really no point for me to buy any bags in any color other than black, because as long as I have the choice of going for a black bag over a bag in another color, I always go for black bags. So it doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the leather, as long as I have it in black, I will just always go for that one. But I have played around with this for a while. I have taken it out here and there, and it's something that I have absolutely loved having in my collection. especially because of the incredible contrast stitching. So gold pieces by Hermes very often feature the contrast stitching, which I think is just the true testament to Hermes's craftsmanship and how beautifully their bags are created. I don't want you to expect the stitching to be perfect and flawless and as uniform as it is on a machine done bag, because if you look at these bags really close, especially bags in contrast stitching, you can see that the saddle stitching isn't perfectly uniform, but I find it to be the charm of these bags because they're all individually handmade. No two bags are going to be identical, which I personally love. I think that makes these bags a lot more special and unique. Even though this bag I wouldn't say that is as much of a holy grail as my Mini Kelly in Black Epsom, which is one of my most used bags. This is something that I have absolutely loved having in my collection because of the contrast stitching, the beautiful color, and the fact that the color matches the hardware perfectly because it is gold on gold, which personally is my favorite combination. Unless it comes to exotic bags in gold, because I actually think that those can benefit from having the coolness of the palladium finish. But when it comes to regular skins, I think gold on gold is just perfection. And my friends, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I know this wasn't a super in-depth review on every single one of these pieces. This was more just like an appreciation video for them. So I'll make sure to leave any corresponding videos in the info box for you, where I go more into depth about the sizes, prices, styling, mod shots, etc. So all of these will be in the info box for you to see and do a little bit more research in case you're interested in any one of these pieces. But I really appreciate you watching, and I would love to find out in the comment section what piece has been your best purchase. If you have the time, please do share your top 5 with me too. I would love to know whether they are from Hermes, another brand, or not even a luxury purchase. I would still be very interested. So let's have a discussion in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like me to do perhaps another one on the best luxury purchases in general from the past year, not necessarily from Hermes, or the worst purchases that didn't work out for me as well as these pieces have, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.